Good morning, everybody. DommyGun Rici here. It's Friday. It's April 19th. We are hitting the third week of MLB season. And boy, it's been a pretty good one to start. I'll tell you, it's been not what I expected. I'm seeing some teams that are playing, some good ball right off the bat. Let's see if they continue that way. One being the New York Mets. They with a turnaround they have made, winning the last four series. I had to start off with that because I might not get that to do that too often this year. My prediction for the Mets this year was a start better than most people thought. I did think that, but I also think that June, like it always, is the Judgment Day. And that's how it is with the Mets. They can have good seasons starting out, which they do a lot. They play good early. Play good at home. June has been the Achilles heel for the Mets in general. We'll see what happens this year. Listen, I'm still not convinced without pitching. I expected a slow start out at Severino, which he did at his first start, but his last two starts have been great. He went 6 innings the other day. He's pitched some good ball, pitched out of jams. The kid Buto, who pitched well last year, and the Mets did have to send him down to the minors because of room and whatever reason at the beginning of the year. Had to bring him up again with the injuries, and I'll tell you, I think that he ain't going nowhere, and he shouldn't go nowhere. He's been pitching great. Be nice when Kodai gets back if we still have Buddha in the lineup. Like I said, Severino's pitched well. Quintana's pitched well. Overall, our pen has been okay. So the real test, early season test. What have we gone through? Maybe an eighth of the season or something like that. The early test is this road trip out in California. We have the Dodgers and we have the Giants. So that should be a little. We can't go out there and go 2-4 or something like that. I'd be happy with a 3-3 out west. Just to keep going as we're going along. But like I said, as always, and well, I shouldn't say just New York fans. Most fans get carried away early with some success in a season that's, like I said, we have only an eighth gone, so no time to get excited yet. I don't think for any of our teams. And look what we did. We've seen the Dodgers haven't been playing great, but better. We've seen the Astros not playing great at all. So there's a lot of teams ain't and then we see like teams like the Pirates and the Royals and the Tigers doing well overall. The Mets did just sweep the Royals and the Pirates, though their last two series, and arguably the two hottest teams coming into those series. So I got my little Met fandom out of the way. Just a couple quick things I've noticed and been researching so far about the early season and with the rule changes and with with the now that everyone's used to no shifts in baseball. The spring training, from the numbers I found, spring training numbers were higher. Home runs, scoring was a little bit high. But for the beginning of the year, of the season, it's down about 3%, which is nothing really. But from what I did read, like power numbers are down, BABIP numbers are down, slugging numbers are down. And what does that have to do with? Is that because of the rule changes? Obviously, steals are up. But is that to do with the rule changes, or does that have to do with partly the rule changes? Partly I say because of the terrible umpiring that's going on, and that there's no direct strike count. And every game you watch, there's a different umpire that has a different thought of what a strike zone should be. I'm watching like those. They love talking about the sweeping curve, like it's some new pitch. They just call it a sweeper now, but you see it coming off the plate 3-4 inches and they're getting called a strike. You see fastballs outside that corner that should be called that are off the plate outside the corner. It should be balls that aren't being called balls. We know about the one umpire. What's his name? Hernandez, I think, who's terrible. He's probably we know what's going on with him probably. But overall, baseball, it comes down to everything I'm talking about, plus the old thing is everybody's in the back of their mind, the baseballs. What kind of baseballs are they using? Does weather have a point? Yeah, weather has been a little bit cold up in the Northeast. And the weather in general has been changing a little bit in the Northeast. It's been colder a little bit longer. So that always, helps unders and stuff. And if you notice the Northeast games, there's been a lot of unders lately. But you got to keep your eye on this, which a stat that I never even paid attention to. And I only really just, I've heard it, the name, but never really, looked into it. And MLB puts it out, and it's called drag rate, and has to do with, has to do with how much the ball's flying out of the park and things like that. From what I gather, I'm sure some guys know more about it than me. But from what the guy I was listening to, as a matter of fact, it was on VSiN. The guy I was listening to, who's I forgot his name, but the guy's sharp. He's a guy who's been around for a long time, one of the good old school handicappers. He was saying if you watch that drag number like later in the year, like around the All-Star break, and if you see that number changing, now I'm not sure how the number goes low, high. I got to look more into it. But if you see that, if you see barrel rates getting higher, slugging percentages getting higher, there's a good chance they change the balls. So that's just something else to keep in mind in baseball. I'm almost starting to think that, and I didn't want to even think about it, but I'm almost starting to think that as far as the strike zones are concerned, maybe we should have automatic umpires or some kind of automatic call that when a ball's a strike should be a strike in Cincinnati as it is in Miami, right? It should be a strike. It should be a strike. So that's my little tirade about what's going on at the early season and about the balls. I mean, we know balls have been changed before, so something to keep our eye on. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Guillermo, how you doing, brother? Eric Jones, Fopatashi, I appreciate you guys coming in right away. I got a couple picks for the early day. And what I'm going to try to do today is come back on around 3 o'clock or so. I've been doing some late picks during the week. We've had a good week, by the way, at Who Bangin' in Major League Baseball. We had a nice 3-0 day yesterday with the Cubs getting rained out, which I had in the second leg of a parlay with the Guardians. So the Guardians play was a pretty high money line outright, and the reason why I put it in the parlay with the Cubs under yesterday. But overall, we still had a good day, and 2+, I guess, a little bit over a quarter. The Cleveland was minus 162, so we had a good 3-unit day. Anyway. Getting back to today, I'm going to put out a couple plays now, and then I'm going to try to come back later on. Let's see where the lines go. I got a couple leans for later. Today's a big card. Today's a good card, and we got some good games coming up. So a lot of teams going out, playing their first game of the series now. A lot of series have been over. The early game is the Miami-Chicago game, correct? I don't have a play on that, but that is the early game. I had the under yesterday with these same pitches, but are they pitching again with the pitches? Are they pitching the same today? You check that out. Looks like they might be. But like I said, I don't have a plan in that game. But let me just check the weather like we always have to, especially in Wrigley Field. As far as weather, I don't really bother with the wind unless it's like 15 miles an hour-ish. The 8-10 miles an hour thing. I mean, it could come into play, I guess, here and there, but I don't really pay too much of a factor into the wind unless I see 15 miles an hour or so. But just to jump on that quickly, last week in the Mets Royals game, or wasn't last week, it was like over the weekend. There was the wind was blowing in 20 something miles, not in but across City Field into the right field, into the stands, over past the right field foul line. Alonso hits 2 home runs. The score ends up being 11-7. So the wind, you would think would have been an under because of the high gusts and the high winds. You hit that ball square, you hit that ball right, it's going out no matter what the But the wind you got to take into consideration. Today in Chicago, you got to take into consideration because a field like Wrigley, it means more than a field like Citi Field. I go to Citi Field a lot. The wind whips around in Citi Field. It's blocked. The stands blocking off up high, and there's only one opening in one section. Where at Wrigley, it's more open in that spot. So that wind might mean more. 25 miles an hour wind blowing out at Wrigley Field today. So keep that in mind if you guys want to check what the over is in that game. And Miami's pitching puke who's puke. So and Talion's supposed to be pitching. So there you go. All right. The first game I do have a play on is the Pirates and the Red Sox. The Pirates just got swept by the Mets, surprisingly. Only scoring one run in each of their last final two games. Pirates had hit a little bit of a lull. Listen, I wasn't one of the that thought the Pirates were going to be anything this year to begin with. Anyhow, I think they still got some growing pains, but they are better than they've been getting better and better and better. One of those teams. Following the Baltimore Oriole line, what I talk about a lot, that started like 2 years ago when we seen them getting better at the end of the year. Then last year we seen them improving. Now, of course, the spotlight's on them, and we'll see what they do today. But good morning, Julian. How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. But getting back to the Pirates, they're coming off they're going back home, coming off a bad road games, especially against the Mets. I'm sure they didn't expect that to happen, but I took the under 8.5 in this game at 110. I see it now; it's at 115. Bayo is first of all, the Pirates are pitching Priester. It wasn't announced till late. It's his first start. He was their first round pick, I think, in 2019 or something like that. So he's finally getting his first start. It's getting against the Red Sox, so going on the road. Brian Bayo is pitching. Bayo was known as a ground ball pitcher and who didn't hold up to that at the early part of this season, but I think he's getting back into that role. Listen, he has a sub-4 ERA, so but he did give up a bunch of home runs and a bunch of long fly balls and some extra base hits that we don't see too often from him as the year goes on. He is a good ground ball pitcher overall. That is supposed to be his forte. So we'll see if that holds up today. His last outing, 5 1/3, 8 strikeouts versus the Angels. Only let up 2 runs in that game, so he's off a decent outing. His last 4 average, 5 hits average in his last 4, 1.25 walks, 4.75 Ks, 15 and a half outs, with a 2.25 ERA average. The pen itself, the Red Sox pen hasn't been great. Their numbers haven't been great, but it looks like they've been improving little by little. Most of them should be rested. They were used up a little bit in that Angels series, but I think both pens really should be rested. As far as the Pirates, one thing I do, one thing that led me really to the under is the Pirates do hit a lot of ground balls. I found the stat where they're in the top of the league in hitting ground balls. So that should bode well for Bayo. I don't trust the Red Sox right now. I mean, if I had a lean on them, I would pick them to win the game. If I had a lean on that, I would say the Red Sox to win. Let me see if I get to the odds right now that I see. For Boston, I see them at... I see Pittsburgh at -112, opening at -110, now -112. I wouldn't take Pittsburgh. I would take Boston if I was going to take anything. But I took the under 8.5, like I said, at -110. We will see what happens in that game. That's a 6:40 game. Okay, so the only game today is the 2:20 Eastern Time. Miami, Chicago. That's the only game. And yes, those two same pitchers are pitching. Next game I'm on, I took a shot here with the Nationals today. Nationals are home against the Astros. I only put a half a unit on it. I'm looking for something else. But I like to, a half a unit on one game. I look to try to use the half unit on something else, or maybe I'll use it as a live play during that game. Verlander is pitching his first game this year for his back to his new old team, the Astros. He hasn't pitched well as far as the spring is concerned. And listen, Verlander is getting old. Let's face it. He's given up in spring training in seven. He had 7 innings pitched. No, he had okay. He had 14 hits. He had 11 earned in 7 innings. And 5 of the 7. What am I reading? Okay, I am reading this right. 7 innings he pitched. He pitched some in Double A. He pitched one start in Double A. He had 5 earned runs. He pitched another a start in Triple A. He gave up 6 earned runs. So that anyway, so 11 earned runs total. 14 hits he gave up in that little bit of time. So he only pitched a couple spot starts down in Triple A and got hammered. Let's see if that. I don't. It's still. It's still Verlander, I guess. And spring training, I don't really use too much as far as my capping, but being his first start, being a kind of a solid Nats team. But listen, the Nats don't strike out a lot. The Nats, as a team, I took last week. Then we talked about it on last Friday's show, which was a disaster show, by the way. I mean, the picks were good, 3-1, but I was all over the place. My first show back, I was rusty. My computer started updating 3 minutes before the show. I lost all my stuff. And if most of you guys that know me, my memory ain't what it isn't my strong point. So, I mean, I have all my papers written down and stuff, and I have stuff on the computer. It was a disaster. But anyhow, last week I talked about the Nats, and and how we won, taking them at a big price, 178 or whatever it was. We took them first 5 in full game against Snell's first start in San Francisco. Now that was a little bit difficult. Snell had no starts at all in spring training, so that was his first start period against any kind of any kind of professional batting. So that was a pretty good spot for the Nats. But listen, and that was on the road. They're home today. Let me take a little shot. I took them at -1 at +148. They're at +144 now. It opened at +152 in certain spots where I'm looking now. Right now, I just got covers.com opened up, and I took them on FanDuel at +148. And now I'm seeing the +144. So some money has come on Washington. I guess some people are agreeing with what I'm saying. Mackenzie Gore's pitching for Washington. We know Mackenzie Gore from the past. Not nothing to write home and get about. Let's see what he's done so far this year. 1-2, 6.23 ERA. His last 3, well, he only pitched 3. 13 innings pitched. 6.23 ERA, 1.77 whip, not good. 5 Ks, 2 home runs. I can see some run scoring in this. And also, Astros haven't been great. Astros haven't been hitting the ball. I'm taking a small shot with the Nats at +144. We'll see what happens. Julian said he hit a stressful 5-unit Nerfy yesterday. He hit a 5-unit Nerfy yesterday, and the Nerfy for today is Philadelphia Chicago White Sox. I don't play the Nerfies or the opposite of Nerfies, whatever that's called. But I can tell you something, Julian. Keep your eye on the Mets. The Mets either give up a run or score a run in the first inning a lot. They did it a lot last year. They give up runs early. So keep your eye on that. That might be just, keep that in the back of your mind because now I hope they don't jinx and they'll go, the next 6 they won't. But the Mets are notoriously for getting in the hole early or scoring a run early, but more than not, they're the ones letting up the run. Carlos Carrasco was famous for that last year. He did it this year, his first 2 starts. I don't know if he did it yesterday. I'm not quick enough on the computer to find out if he gave up a run early yesterday. But I had Cleveland yesterday. We had a good day yesterday. We had a good day yesterday. Hopefully it translates to today, but as we know, one has nothing to do with the other. Okay, so that's my next game. We talked about the Red Sox. We talked about the Nats. The next game I got is the Tigers Twins. I took the under first 5. 4.5, -128. My boy Jack Flaherty on the Tigers. He's back pitching again. The old man Flaherty. Something about Flaherty I just always liked. There's sometimes you just like different pitches for no even I mean, he's not such a special pitcher. Good, solid, But anyhow, his last let's see, what has he done? His last three. Okay, his last outing, 630 innings, 8 strikeouts. He gave up 3 runs. His last three he's averaging almost 7 Ks. He's averaging 18 in the third outs, so he's going pretty far into games. He's 6.33 hits, a little bit high, 1 walk average over the last three, which is we always like to see. My another guy I like is Ryan, pitching for the Twins. His last outing, he had 6 innings, 1 run, 12 strikeouts in that crazy game against the Tigers, which ended up being an 11-5 extra inning game, but it had nothing to do with Joe. He pitched solid, and the just game got away from the bullpens, and crazy that how it got. But both pens for this game are rested. I like both pitches. Talk about the Pens quickly. The last three average for the. I've been looking at last three because we're early in the season. I like to look at team stats like that, 3, 5, like that. Keep on going. Dabby Cab, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining in. What do you got? The Brewers team total over 4. Let's put that up. Good to see Dabby Cab. I miss you, Dabby. I got Brewers team total over 4 and bets over 1.5. Love it. I'm not the biggest prop guy, as you guys know. So, what time is it, by the way? 10:27. So, my goal on these shows on Friday, obviously, is to be done by 11. I never, even though I haven't been around much lately, but which will change today. I'll never want to be on when Jimmy the Bag comes on. It's just something I will never do. So. That's how that goes. So I always try to be off by 11 or 5 after or whatever. So the pen for Tigers. I know I go off on these tangents. Sorry, guys. The Tigers pen, their last three average 1.64 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. So they've been all right. 31 Ks, 10 walks, a little high for the 31 Ks, but 6 homers. So they've given up a couple of home runs late. As the Twins. 3.90 ERA last three, 1.19 WHIP, 35 Ks, 7 walks. So they've been, not bad at all. Not the last three. The Twins have 8 strikeouts average. The last three. No. I'm sorry. That was Joe Ryan's last three. He's averaging 8 Ks. He's averaging 17 in the third outs. So he's going, he's going pretty deep. He's going, past that 5th inning. On an average, 4.67 hits, but no walks, 0.67 walks. So I didn't want to trust the Pens, even though they're both rested. I took the under first 5, under 4.5, but I would recommend the under in the game too. If it's still at 8.5, if it's at 8.5, I would recommend that bet also. We'll get together, Dabby. It's a long season. We get to do some things, man. That's for sure. So, next. What do I got next? Those are the 3 games. Did I take one? Yeah, I did take one more. I took, just as the show was coming on, as a matter of fact. What the hell line did I get? Okay, I took the Cincinnati over 9. The Angels are coming into town. Angels haven't been bad, man. Angels have been hitting the ball here and there, and surprisingly. But Cincinnati, Great America Ballpark, it's always good, always a plus when you take those overs in Great American Ballpark. Let's see what the weather is. First, let's see. Where are we here? Okay. Great America Ballpark. Anybody have the weather out on there? I don't have it. What the hell happened to it? But anyhow, I thought I seen the wind blowing out slightly. Besides the fact, I took the number. Lodolo's pitching is his second start of the year. His first start, he did well. 5 innings, 5.2 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned. But there's a but. He was. Let me put that up, Dabby. Cool. Good numbers there. he was against the White Sox, so we got to take that with a grain of salt, right? A lot of pitches look good against the White Sox. I think Dabney could hold his own against the White Sox. Matter of fact, but the Cincinnati and the Angels, both teams have been hitting the ball, especially against lefties. They're both top in ISO, top 5 in the league in ISO, top 10 in OPS. So they're both hitting the ball against lefties. LA has a top K rate, a top walk rate. They're solid numbers, not the top of the league, but solid numbers. Anderson is pitching for LA. His last 3, he has 4 Ks average. He's pitching deep, over 18 outs, 4 hits, 2 walks, 1 earned. He's off of 3 earned, 4 hits, 3 walks, 4 Ks again. That was that start against the Boston. So I like this game to go over. I took the over 9 minus 120, and we'll see if we can get that done. Okay, here we go. L.A. Cincinnati, wind blowing out between center and right, 11.4 miles an hour. So nothing crazy wind, but it can only help maybe push something a little bit further. So those are the games I took so far. I'll go over them again. And I got a couple leans for that. I kind of like the Yankees tonight. I kind of like the Padres tonight. There's a couple games I like. I want to look over a couple more things. Like I said, I'm going to come back later on. I'll see if I get anybody to join me maybe around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock Eastern time. And maybe we'll do a quick half-hour shows or whatever. Dabby, if you're available later on, hit me with a DM if you want to jump on. I'm going to hit up Dave. I talked to him the other night. I'll pick from Dave Rogers, so we'll see if he can join. See if Big Ragu is around. We'll see who's around. If not, I'll come back anyhow with a couple late-night picks, late afternoon picks. They've been going good, so I don't want to jinx not doing it. There's Justin. Justin, I'm waiting for you, man. I can't do a show without you, Justin. Joey Harb. What's up, Joey? Good to see you, man. Like little by little, guys are coming back. Listen, it took me 2 weeks to even start going. I've been taking it slow and steady. But like I said, it's a long season, and we'll be here every Friday. We will be here at 10 o'clock, and every Sunday we will be. I'll be with DJ at 11 o'clock. This Sunday, Big Ragu will be joining us, so we should have some fun. The old team always back. Well, we're back every day we talk, but back on air again. Justin has Matt Olson RBI plus 140. Yeah, I get why. It's a good number, plus 140 actually. So here's my games for today, and like I said, we'll try to come back later. Anybody else have anything to put up? I'll put it out there. I took the Tigers and the Twins. First 5 under 4.5 minus 128. It's a little high, but that's what I took. I was thinking about it. It opened up a little. When I first looked at it, it was 120. It jumped to 128 pretty quick, and I was a little surprised that it made that kind of a move this morning, but it did. I don't bet much the night before. I bet a lot early in the morning. I'm up early. I'm an old man who's up early, so. But I like to bet that 7, 8 o'clock in the morning type of thing. So especially I work a couple days a week, a few hours a morning, and I always got that. I got into that habit of trying to get some early things in before I go to work, even though I'm home early. Anyhow, Cincinnati. So like I said, I love going off on tangents, right, guys? Twins, first 5 under 4.5 minus 128. Cincinnati over 9 minus 120. Pirates under 8.5 minus 110. That could be a little tricky, that game, man. That's gonna be a little tricky. We'll see what happens. I took a half a unit. The other ones are all 1 unit. I took a half a unit plus 148 on the Washington Nationals. And I took, and I have written down now here as my lean, and I didn't take it yet, was that KC Baltimore over. I like it. It's at 9. I kind of like that game. Marsh is pitching, right? Who's pitching for Baltimore? Damn name is the top of my tongue. Let's get to Baltimore. Just do this quick. See if any of you guys have any looks on that game. Baltimore, Kansas City. Alec Marsh is Kansas City's home. Alec Marsh is pitching. Dean Kramer is pitching. They haven't been as we like to say here, lighting it up on the mound. I can see this game going over. I have it. I have a good lean on this over game. We'll see if it gets there. I'll probably talk about that later. That'll be one of the games I'm looking at. I thought maybe I had something written down about it this morning, but I do not. So, let's just see what the hell, what's going on, because they played. Okay, the last meeting was April 3rd. Baltimore won at home 4-3. Baltimore's had a little bit of how they started. Baltimore has a target on their back, so they have the pressure now this year, Baltimore. So listen, they haven't been bad, but and they're hitting, as you see, that more and more and more. They belted 30 home runs entering yesterday's play, which was the best in baseball. So as you can see, they're starting to hit the bat, but teams are ready for Baltimore. It wasn't like last year. Last year, teams weren't ready. This year, they're ready. So, Marsh 2-0, 4.32 ERA. Kramer 3.48 ERA in 2 career starts versus Kansas City. He has yielded 3 runs on 3 hits in 5 1/3 innings on April 1st versus them. So we'll see what happens. I do have a lead in that game. But I gave you the games I am on today. I'm going to try to come back later on at maybe 3, 4 o'clock. I'll post something earlier. If you can, please like and subscribe to Who Bangin'. We got to get our numbers up. Beginning of the year, we're ready to rock and roll. We got a lot of things coming up that I'm sure you guys will be interested in. Besides all the merch and stuff, DJ even made me some lighted up merch. So I forgot how to even do that. There's some kind of barcode. I'm not good for the salesmanship of merch, am I? Listen, I'm here to pick games and to talk about baseball, so that's what it is, man. I heard a guy the other day on VSiN say, I'm a content creator first, and I'm a sports bettor second. Well, that's not here. That's not me, and that's not at Who Bangin'. And I'm sure that's not really at Pub either. I know it's not. I know my boy Jimmy don't feel that way. I'm sure Dabby don't feel that way. I'm a sports bettor first. I'm a sports bettor first. I'm a gambler first. I'm not a content creator first. So, the mistakes are the mistakes. I talk to you guys the way I talk to. I talk to DJ during the day, the way we talk, if we're at a game, the way we talk when we're on vacation, the way I talk to Dabby when we talk on the phone. That's how we do it, man. We're just here to win games. I'm not here to say who's better than this guy, who's better than that guy. I'm not all about, I feel the numbers and the content, all that stuff, the numbers will come if we're good at what we do. And as far as I'm concerned, it's all about winning first, right, fellas? Everything else is, well, we won't say what everything else is. All right, let me get out of here. DommyGun Rici here. Jimmy the Bag is coming up at 11. I'm going to get myself, I got 2 quick things to do, and I'm going to join the show. I haven't been on for a while since the end of last baseball season, so I miss Jimmy and the gang. And thanks you guys for coming in. I will see you definitely Sunday and probably later on this afternoon. Have a good day.